It's February 5th, 2022. On the previous episode of Ball and Bonkers, it was nice to get to reconnect with one of the members of the company I used to affiliate with. I had a lot of respect for him, a lot of admiration. Because if there was anybody who tried to handle the situations professionally well, it was him. And based on discussions that happened tonight, it kind of sounds like he got screwed over as well. Oh well. We're all on to bigger and better things. Just recently, my co-host Chris Mole and I were invited as guest speakers for one of our friends, psychic medium Lisa Fry, talking about ghost boxes, and she mentioned it's hard to start from scratch, but that's the thing. We weren't starting from scratch. Far from it. We combined our resources. I combined everything I had. Chris combined everything he had. And I expanded our horizons using methods I was wanting to implement into previous engagements, but small-mindedness, I guess. Don't matter. Where should I go? Recently, a client from a rather nasty case reached out saying he still felt that I was having issues. Diluted compared to what he was having, but was still going on. To be truthful, I did everything I could. Him being in another country and financial situations not sitting the best at the moment, he seemed to expect me to try to drop everything and fly out to him. As much as I would love the opportunity to be able to just go to any random place in the world, I would love just at a whim. I haven't quite figured out how to break that bubble yet. But after a little bit of evaluation, it was determined that everything he was continuing to experience was likely a form of post-traumatic stress. It's not like it's easy to find therapy for something like that. I don't know his area well enough or have enough contacts in order to get him the help he needs. But quite frankly, I was getting more of the impression that he was wishing everybody to spoon feed him. I really hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I can't limit myself to just one person when there's other situations I can provide even more help for. The world has come knocking at my feet. It's overwhelming at times, but somehow we're powering through. There's probably going to be more ugly situations that unfold, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But nevertheless, it's time to move on. Time to keep growing. People from my previous engagements tried to discourage me from moving on due to the fact that I called them out for their actions. I still stand by everything I said. And quite frankly, I get the notion that further behaviors down the line may require rallying the troops. It's not something I wanted to do. Not something I would even want to even consider for someone I thought of as a brother once. But innocent people are going to get hurt. Even more so. Like I said though, We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. On the 13th of this month, there's going to be a release. For a year now, we've experimented with sigils and sonification, turning images into sound. Progress was made. Essentially, a sigil designed with protection and elements from angelic sigils involving healing, protection, etc. Produced enough of a barrier, to which I called it the Walls of Eden. Turning this into sound was easy. Finding the right frequencies to have the sound play was another. Then came the surprise suggestion of the CE5 protocols. Upon playing these tones, I swear I feel them now, trying to play. Upon hearing these tones, there was a bit of a flow, energy flow in my mind, where I could feel its tense sensations. I don't know how to describe it. Or I could feel like an electrical flow to the rhythm that some of the tones were playing at. So the thought came to where, what if I were to adjust the frequencies of the tones using the protection sigil to the same range as CE5 protocols? What would happen? These experiments were given an emergency fast forward after there was another attack, another possession attempt, likely connected to dark extraterrestrial forces, a literal galactic empire responsible for the enslavement, capture of thousands and thousands of worlds, maybe even the native world, maybe even captured the home world of where Olivia's mother comes from, where I may come from, star seeds and all that. It's still hard to process a lot of this information. There's an entity that seems to be coming through quite frequently, trying to give me hints, trying to give me tips on how to move forward. And following through has produced some interesting results, so I'll continue to entertain the notion. But nevertheless, despite what some people have tried to joke about online, like child's play, like ignorant teenagers, which is ironic. Some of these people that were causing issues clearly had infatuations with someone who was arrested for messing around with a teenager. Probably shouldn't say that on here, but I fully plan on addressing that situation and more, because it is a well-known problem very soon, and I fully plan on pissing some people off. We gotta stop hurting each other. We gotta stop trying to go for selfish benefit. Anyway, back to the protection sigil. I've utilized my media contacts in order to be able to release it as a single through most music outlets listed under Creative Commons specially marked so that anybody can play it on their YouTube or Facebook, and it shouldn't get them in trouble. They're nice enough to link it back. That would be appreciated, but I don't have the time or the resources to chase after everybody. So, a nice little note about the Creative Commons license will be embedded in the metadata. Sure, there's ways around that, but you gotta admit, a lot of this technology is becoming more sophisticated every day. Good things are coming. Strange things are coming. And who knows? The UFO landing in the middle of the White House lawn may have passengers that look an awful lot like me at this rate. I don't necessarily care whether or not you believe me. I'm starting to doubt what to believe some days, too. But I know that something is going on, and anybody who has actually respected me, actually has worked with me, knows that I would not entertain something unless I genuinely thought that it was going on. Some ignorant troll that likes to bounce around about his curly hair and dancing around in his underwear, pretending to be a part of a paranormal group out of Portland, tried to stir up trouble last week on the show. Quite frankly, he looks like a registered sex offender. Probably is. Can't just trust people anymore. I don't know. I tried to say that I belong in an insane asylum. Trust me. That is something I would agree to had I not been on the front lines. I'm doing my best to try to stay objective about everything, but it's getting hard. I guess we'll see what comes next. Specialist Strange. Out.